Hello again, and welcome to another KitPlus TV show supported by Mediaproxy. So there are a few manufacturers that are somewhat omnipotent in the broadcast and professional video world, insofar as they really are everywhere. One such of these organisations is, of course, Sony.
Yes, companies like Sony really need to be across what the industry needs and what the current trends are. So we've invited back into the studio Peter Sykes from SONY PSE, as much of his job involves knowing what's going on. So hi Peter, nice to see you again. So quickly on to exactly that point. What have you witnessed in terms of lasting trends developing since we last spoke?
Well, hi Simon, hi Matt. Thanks for the invite to come on and speak again. I think looking back, it was around kind of May, June time when we had the last chat, and we were, well into the situation that we all faced. The first kind of phase and the first lockdowns were upon us, and everybody was in the kind of eye of the storm, really. So what we saw at that time was obviously the COVID impact, which is obviously continuing. Sports and live were very much hit. There was it was followed by the restart of all sports, of many sports, albeit with very strict COVID protocols, and people watching more and more streamed content, high quality stuff at home, more news. So on that side of the equation, there was quite a lot happening, and then also we had lots of consolidation in the market. So big mergers and acquisitions, growth in direct to consumer. And at the same time, new workflows and business models were starting to emerge as well. So we saw some companies, big companies, accelerating their technology strategies, moving their focus onto things like IP, cloud, remote working. And we also saw how important, which was good for the discussion we're having here, how important technology was to businesses during that time to enable them to continue their operations. So looking at the lasting trends that are coming out, and everybody's looking forward and trying to work out where all this will land, we're still very much in an uncertain world. Companies are having a much more pragmatic and business-based approach to the investments that they're making, and they're looking at the technologies that can help them in that quest, but also how they can acquire the necessary skills that they need. And I can maybe elaborate a little bit and give some hints and tips on that a little bit later during the discussion. The impact is on basically everyone in the industry, and for Sony, we started to focus on what we call the 3Rs, or developments across 3Rs, which are reality, real time, and remote, which really emphasize where we think the market is at the moment.
Excellent. Now, well, let's go back to the skills you said. What practical ways are you helping the industry, in learning about how to deal with these new technologies going forward?
Yeah, so I think around September, October time last year, you interviewed my colleague, Belen, who joined to talk about a program that we were running at that time, which is actually still continuing. This was our Rewrite the Future campaign, which was our online campaign. It featured webinars and panel discussions and discussions with key players in the industry. A lot of those resources are still available on our website, and you can log in and take a look at pro.sony/rewrite. So that program is still running, but we're kind of adding to that as well, because as we saw, we've been continuously seeing, demand for high quality content is still there. You've got all the direct to consumer, the thirst for high quality drama and features. A few days ago, obviously, it was CES, and there was a lot of emphasis there on high quality displays. And we've seen the popularity within Sony of our cinema line cameras, the Venice FX9 and FX6. But we still have this social distancing in place, both in terms of on-set operations, but also visiting office and training locations. So a few days ago, we launched an initiative called Cine Alta Club. And what we want to do there is to help the filmmakers, many who have been locked down and remain locked down, who may need to get ready for a new shooting season, a new project. So we've introduced this facility called Cine Alta Club to help. And basically what we can do, we've got a number of levels of activity. So we've got something called Crew Call, which we can support crews who are getting ready to shoot. With Venice, we can do phone calls or Teams calls. We have something called Venice Refresher, which is a 2-hour program, latest on all the Venice features and the workflows. And also a little bit more in depth, if you want to drill really down, there's a Venice accreditation, which is 2 days. It's a paid for facility, and we want to do that in person at our Pinewood Centre when we're allowed to do that. So quite a few things happening. We just want to try and help people to get the latest information that they need in what continues to be a difficult time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So Peter, just going back to products and solutions, we saw the virtual production system coming along before COVID. How's that matured since the start of the pandemic?
Yeah, so virtual production, it's a service that we offer. It's based around a virtual switcher which runs in the cloud. So there's no software to download. You just connect in, set it up, and you go. We can run with 6 cameras, and the operators can be outside. They can connect to the system, well, a wired system or a wireless connectivity or via 4G. And the vision switcher is running in the cloud. The operator can be anywhere in the world. They can be at home, they could be in an office or on location. And they can switch the cameras and the audio. They can add captions and stream to something like Facebook or YouTube. It's all in the cloud. Now, what we've done, we've introduced, again, a few days ago, a scheme where whoever wants to evaluate this system can do so free of charge. We have a 5 hours free of charge within a 30-day window, which you can log into, register, and start to use. The details, again, are on our website. And this is really a facility which could be quite useful for people who are covering events, in these difficult times where not everybody can be on site. Maybe you want to limit the travel to a particular location. And we've got some, I think since the last time we spoke, we've got some good case studies. There is a case study where Viacom CBS used the system. And if you search online, you can see the feedback from that exercise. So again, something that we're focusing on, and again, quite relevant in the times that we face at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, the Sony business in the UK, or Sony Broadcast Solutions, etc., the professional solutions, isn't just chucking out kit. There's an element of services. You've got business solutions. What are the other? Have you got other interesting ways in which you've been helping the industry?
Yeah, so I think as we've discussed before, I work in the media solutions part of Sony. So our core business is to supply products, services, and solutions to organizations like production companies and broadcasters. Within Sony, there are lots of different groups, and one interesting group is Sony Sports Innovation Group. So whereas media solutions, we look at supplying the hardware and the services, the Sports Innovation Group, they really talk more with the sports leagues and the clubs. And they're combining the technologies that they have through the acquisition of Hawkeye Innovations some years ago and Pulse Live, and also the experience that we have supplying production services to some major events, sporting events around the world. So what that group is focused on is creating new experiences for fans, for sports organizations and rights holders. And just to give you an example, they developed a project and worked on a project called Every Shot, Every Hole, which was first used at a major international golf tournament in the United States in 2019. And it basically allows operators to remotely clip every shot that's played and upload to the website for the event. And those operators can be anywhere. They can be running out of the office, the Sony office in Basingstoke in the UK, or on location in this case in the United States. And when the pandemic hit, sport halted for quite a long time before it restarted under strict COVID rules. And the team took the opportunity to look at how that system could be developed, especially based around the appetite for remote production that was continuing to grow. And they further developed the system to provide a fully remote broadcast replay tool. So operators can queue up and play instant replays from wherever they are. They can be at home in any location, connected up. It's a way of reducing the number of staff that are working on site and it fits in well with the protocols that we're seeing around the world. And there is some information on that. There's a much more in-depth kind of case study. If you look at SVG Europe, there's a case study on there which some people might be interested to take a further look at.
And
Absolutely,
Peter, have you seen like an increased uptake for events organisations, football stadiums, since fans haven't been able to attend? That they obviously want to give the spectators at home a much better, richer experience.
Yes, I think it's very fair to say that because for the majority, if not all the sports, I think at the moment, the fans are just not allowed in. So it's the broadcasters and the production companies that are taking the fans into the heart of the action. And as we've seen, specifically in the UK over the past few weeks and months, the amount of coverage has really gone through the roof. So you're seeing football games, whether you like football or hate it, you can't escape the fact that there's football on the TV pretty much every day, along with lots of other sports as well. So there's been a massive focus in that area, because with fans not able to travel, the only way that they can get excited and angry and emotional is to watch on the screen.
I'm sure there'll be an increase of broken phones out there being thrown at the wall. So before we let you go, I mean, is there anything that you should like to highlight for 2021 that maybe you've got coming up, or is there any tips that you can give anyone that's engaging with Sony? What would you say to them for 2021, for the rest of this lockdown period? What are they looking at?
Well, I think it's a case of keeping an eye on the developments in the industry. We're all looking at where all this is going to land. Our focus is on making sure that our customers can make fantastic quality images and get great quality sound, and also make themselves more efficient, make their workflows more efficient in these areas where lots of people are working remotely, but that quality still needs to be there. So it's basically looking in those areas, check out the tools that we have to help in terms of remote production, virtual production, and in terms of all the skills that we can operate. And we just want to continue to be a trusted partner at a time when a lot of people in the industry are either still in or emerging from quite a difficult situation. So that's where we're focusing.
Peter, thank you very much. We'll be sure to put some links below the video in the description for people to find out more. But thank you very much, and thanks for watching today's show, which is brought to you with the support of Mediaproxy, and you can find out more about them at mediaproxy.com. We'll see you next time.